Well, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today making a special video talking about the state of Pokemon TCG Live. It's something, I don't know if I want to do it, but it's something I do think I need to do. I'm playing Pokemon TCG because I like to do it. That's what the channel's about. And I'm playing it digitally, which means I'm playing it online in live, and the state of live and to the extent it's working or not working impacts me on a just as someone that as a content creator when I'm making videos. It's always a question, but also just because I like playing the game, and it affects me that way as a fan of the TCG. Right, that's really the bigger issue. I'm a fan of the TCG, and the state of live just isn't very good on an ongoing basis. So I'm recording this on April 24th. That's a Thursday. The game was down April 23rd for the day for 8 hours. That's its own thing. It can't be down 8 hours a pop, especially when they do it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It can't be down for 8 hours a time. I mean, that's got to get sorted out. And they've been doing this for over 2 years, so I don't even know if they see that as a problem, but it is, I think. You can let me know in the comments below if you think it's fine. For if a quality game, if it's supposed to be, if it's acceptable for it to be down this often for maintenance. But okay, so what happened? The game came back on Wednesday evening from my time, and at some point in the evening I got on the game, and the game was just a mess. So they talk about it here in this one post with this version 1.25.0. That was the updated. That's the number for the update. Caused disruptions. It's saying there were latency issues, code redemption issues, and matchmaking issues. And yeah, particularly the latency issues is what I experienced. Things would take just an insane amount of time. And sometimes the game wouldn't even think they'd happen. Like, anyway, you'd play Buddy Buddy Poffin, nothing would happen at all for a bit. Eventually, the cards in your deck would show up after like 15 seconds. You could pick out your cards. You'd say, okay. Then it would pause another 15 seconds. Or for 15 seconds, then those two Pokemon would like hover in the air. And then eventually they'd go onto your bench. It was just a mess. And then sometimes things got so laggy the computer would kind of undo what you did, I think, at times. It was just a disaster. So then what happened here is this thread that started yesterday. They took the game offline for, quote, emergency maintenance. It was when they investigated to investigate what was happening. So they didn't know what was happening. They knew there was a major problem. Then the next update says that it's back online. But they're going to continue to investigate. So I think they took it down to look at it, the problems, and didn't know what it was. So they stuck it back up again, right? Figuring at least there'd be more data, and maybe that would be the best thing to let people play, even in a bad state. Then I don't know how much later, a few hours later, it looks like still on the it's still on the Wednesday, I think. Or maybe it was the Thursday morning their time. It's a little hard to tell. They took it offline. I guess it was Thursday morning. So it's down for the day now on Thursday, the 24th. I guess we'll come back on, I guess, after 8 hours, but I think they're probably trying to sort things out. And then they posted a new thread about it. So it was down all day yesterday for maintenance. It was down again for a bit while they started to fix it out, to sort it out, and it's down again. So for a third time within a day. So it's just not good. And unfortunately, look, I have a lot of new player content, so the great thing about Poke Live is the in-game economy is very generous. The bad thing about it, and if you're an experienced player, you know this, the state of live, the game just doesn't work like it should. And if you're a newer player and this is your first time having these experiences, I'm sorry. And unfortunately, this has been an ongoing problem, and I don't know if and when it will be sorted out. But okay, getting specifics of what here, because the one thing is they've given us a letter. They've given us a little more information than normal. And I want to talk about what that information is and maybe why they're doing it. So look, this is this other posting, which is kind of a letter explaining things. Pokemon TCG Live, April maintenance issues and content schedule changes. So hello, everyone. I want to give you a quick update. I will provide a link to this in the description to the video, too, so you can read it yourself. We've had problems. And they kind of describe what was in those posts I looked at before. Seeing significant impact. We've decided to take the game offline for a bit longer than usual. And like I said, they take it offline for too long on a regular basis, but that is what it is, right? We know it's not ideal, but we want to make sure the experience meets the standards you deserve. I think for most long-term players, as live doesn't really meet the standards we deserve anyway. So, but, they're going to say what they're going to say. I get that. So, because of the extended downtime, we're making a couple of schedule adjustments. The March rank ladder will be extended, I guess, by a day. See, that one doesn't say, because what happens if you extend the March rank ladder, because they don't want people complaining about not getting to Master League. All right, that's fine. I don't really care. To me, it's not a big deal. If you extend March, you're going to shorten April, though, right? Unless you're going to shift everything by a day indefinitely, which I assume they're not. So you're going to extend March, so instead of, we're just going to shorten April. So you don't really gain anything by it. I guess the difference is March, the shortening, if they left it the way it is, you're losing time right at the end of the rank ladder, so people feel the impact more, where in April, it's going to just start a day late. Assuming that's what they do. We don't know. It just says it's going to be extended. It doesn't say how much. I'm assuming they get the game back working with not today. And then there's not more than an extra day of downtime. They're just going to add a day to the rank ladder. So at least for April, you're going to know from the beginning that you have one less day, so you'll make adjustments earlier on, I guess. That's the idea. And then they put here in bold, for the second bullet point, the Gym Leader Challenge Trainer will be delayed. And they said they're going to talk about the why. First up, they want to make sure everyone has their shot to climb. This is talking the rank ladder and grabbing the exclusive Iono's Belly Bolt deck accessories, right? I guess you get a deck box, coin, that kind of stuff. I don't really care, but that is what it is. So they're extending the current rank ladder. That's kind of inconsequential to me. So the rank ladder is going to stay open. They say here till Sunday, the rank ladder is going to stay open until April 26th. Okay, yeah, so I guess 2 days. So that's Saturday. I think it normally reset on a Thursday. So giving us 2 days to the rank ladder. Okay, that's fine. And then talking about secondly, we're excited about the debut of Gym Leader Challenge. Want to make sure it launches with the best possible shape. To make sure that we get a smooth, high-quality experience, which smooth and high-quality experience is not something that we really ever see in live, but we'll let that slide, right? We made the tough call to postpone its debut by 2 weeks and swap it with the next trainer trial on the schedule. So when it comes back online on April 24th, so they figure it'll be down less than a day. I guess the typical 8 hours is what I'm assuming. You'll jump into the Silver Series instead, a unique challenge where you build decks only using common, uncommon, and rare cards from the Scarlet and Violet series. And then they give us a little updated schedule. We get the Silver Series starting immediately as soon as maintenance ends. We get the Gym Leader Challenge 2 weeks later, so it still starts on the Thursday, May 8th. They're just swapping spots, and then ends the 22nd. It doesn't say, and then I think we have the CU Cup expanded after that. It doesn't list that, but I assume that's the case. And what they go through here's what's happened. Been working hard on an exciting milestone update for Pokemon TCG Live. That's originally scheduled for April 23rd as part of our commitment to improve and expand the game. So it was a milestone update. I'm not. This is what it included, which I don't really see it as a milestone stuff. They enhanced the first-time player experience, tuned for the new rotation, and I know that was a problem because we had rotation happens. You get new starter decks, and then the new player experience was set up for the older decks. So they had like a month where the new player experience didn't really fit with the actual decks you got. What I was given as in my new account, I did just to test things out. My Charizard deck was missing a Charizard EX because of it. So their internal coordination, it's just lacking. It just doesn't happen, unfortunately. It goes back to the day when the global beta launched, which was I was excited about that, as we were many people. And when the global beta launched, that the servers were down for 8 hours of maintenance right in the middle of that. So it's like, just needs a little bit of coordination. They just lack coordination. And here, rotation happens, you get new starter decks, but the new player experience, nobody's thinking about these things. Oh, wait, we need to adjust the new player experience for this as well. So there's just a lack of understanding and oversight in live, which we just see on a regular basis. Also, what's happening is the launch of the Gym Leader Challenge with the latest card bans. I guess there were some changes to the bans, which I saw posted someplace. So you'll find out what that is. I think there's 2 new cards that are banned in GLC. We'll get that in 2 weeks, though. If I might discuss it before then. There's an issue. Adjust the rank ladder EOL. for improve matchmaking. The matchmaking in live isn't really good. It's a common complaint in a lot of games. I think it is a bit of a problem in live, so hopefully they sort that out. There's a fixing an issue with Iono's Killer Watch Roll, where it uses ability if there's no cards in the deck and it locks up the game. That's an ongoing issue with every card that does a similar type of an ability and or a similar mechanic. Like if it's something that you're getting cards from deck, but it'll let you do it when you don't have any cards in deck, and the game freezes up, and unfortunately there's some logical issue where they have to do special programming for every individual card rather than the logic isn't quite there in the way the program's structured, I think. And there's a slow bro issue too. So anyway, these aren't milestone things. I mean, GLC is a big deal. I will talk about that. Why I do think that's a big deal, and they understand that. But it's not really a milestone update. So unless there was other things that were here, this is just a regular update, right? Even the GLC, while GLC is a big deal, it is GLC. It's just part of the trainer trials. I already had implemented the trainer trials weeks before this, so this was a minor update, I would say, not a milestone update. So they're trying to defend themselves by calling it a milestone update, I would say, right? We did a big update, so these things happen. Well, I think that's exaggerating the point. So as always with major updates, and it's a number update, right? It's from 1.25, right? So I guess 24, 25, 20, all those I guess are major updates, and I get that. They go to main so they can safely apply the changes. Again, down for the day. Gotta fix that, guys. You just gotta fix that, Pokemon. You can't be down for the day. It's just not acceptable. Once they came online, we saw issues. We've been over that before. And this is what's a little different. And how much do we believe it? How much do we, how do we take it? These problems weren't seen in any of our prior QA verification passes. Honestly, and we've been actively working on solutions behind the scenes. So this idea of QA verification passes, it doesn't. It's kind of hard to believe that there is a QA verification process and QA verification passes. If there's one QA verification pass, I'm kind of surprised. The programmers type some code in and they say okay, we're done, and then they upload it. I think is pretty much what's happening here. There isn't really QA happening in the game, right? Or certainly not the extent it should be. And the idea of multiple passes with the QA team, I think that it sounds good, right? But I don't think it's reality. And they're working on solutions which behind the scenes, which, okay, they're working on it. That means they don't know what the problem is. They don't know how to fix it, right? That's what that means. So, we've tried a few fixes. None have brought the stability we need, especially with the Gym Leader Challenge on the horizon, which we know will draw lots of activity, which it will. Okay, and I'm going to close by talking about that. We want this beloved format to shine, and right now we can't guarantee the high-quality experience it deserves. Now, yes, GLC deserves a high-quality experience, but standard format deserves a high-quality experience. Everything does, right? All of us users deserve a high-quality experience. We're not getting that, right? GLC, they're worried about GLC getting it. They're not worried about everything else getting it, unfortunately. They continue to investigate, reconfigure a service to address these issues. We're not ready to give an exact timeline yet. That said, we have lots of exciting things planned for May, and hopefully they'll be back on track soon, or we'll be back on track soon. So more things planned for May, which means, unfortunately, we've learned that means more problems in May, right? So they just need to fix. Anyway, okay. So we know how much this community cares about the game. We care just as much about being transparent with you. It's good that they did issue this letter. Today marks a step towards forward and keeping you more in the loop. We're committed to improving that communication moving forward. Thanks for your patience, your support, and being part of the journey with us. We'll see you in-game again soon. So, look, the letter's a good thing. I agree. Now, they did the letter because this problem was so bad that they needed to do a letter. So they say here, and hopefully it's true, that this is a step forward, keeping us more in the loop, and that they're going to improve communication moving forward. what has happened is they've at times they do a little bit of communication and they go silent, or they can start to communicate about something and they stop doing it. So I'm skeptical that this is going to be a new improved communication going forward. Hopefully it is. So we'll see. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've, like they started a list of issues and they kind of stop with that issue. They stop with that. You get letters to the community with the plans for the game occasionally, but then they go long periods of silence. So, we'll see what happens going forward. Okay, so GLC. First off, well, these trainer trials, look, I'm glad they did it. Like one concern is were they ready to do trainer trials, and that since they've been struggling to get Pokemon TCG Live working anyway, were these were they going to implement the trainer challenges properly? It's been the first two have been fine. The single and the twin, they were more simple. The GLC is a little more complicated to implement just because it's kind of its own set of rules and stuff. The other thing, which they're well aware of, is there's a big following for Gym Leader Challenge out there, which is a good thing. But because of that, people will start playing GLC once it becomes available. People are going to be unhappy because it's not the full expanded card set. And they made an announcement that it's not going to be, by the way. It's black. Because you're not going to be able to play black and white XY cards. You're going to be able to play Sun and Moon cards on. But I think it's still a step in a positive thing that you can do that. So, look, the trainer challenges, I don't think they've seen play. When I go to do them, I find matches and stuff, so that's good. They're getting used. GLC is going to see way more use, and actually could see an increase in players coming to live, which on one hand is good because I want live to be a good, positive experience for everyone. But when the game's broken, bringing in more people is not a good thing. So, look, Pokemon knows that GLC is a big deal. Coming to live is a big deal. So so they're saying, okay, they know what's going to happen. So they pushed off GLC by 2 weeks, saying, okay, we're going to try to fix things today, April 24th. But we know, what, we might not get it fully fixed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the Silver Series, which is fine. People aren't we're not going to get the big, huge crowds for Silver Series as GLC. And so it's going to give us 2 weeks to get the game sorted out. So I think what's happened is they broke the game yesterday, the 23rd. They tried fixing it in emergency fashion later that day. They couldn't. Now they're working on it today, the 24th, and they hope they can get it fixed. They think live will be back online. It'll be improved some. I got to imagine from how it was before the update. But then what they've done is they've given themselves 2 weeks to see what else is going on with live to make adjustments to get GLC challenge. Now, the GLC format, get the game working so when GLC launches, it's in a good state. Now, to what extent were these problems related to GLC? I don't know. Like I said, GLC is more complicated, and I don't think. I'm not a programmer as such. I do some little coding on my own, but I'm not a programmer of big things, big projects. But a couple, one of the things I know from my work and also trying to logic, programmers obviously let me know how I'm misplaced with this. But one of the big questions is, how do you logically structure a program? It's one of the fundamental things. You think about a program. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I break it up? How do I make that work? I think with Live's been slow and buggy from day one. With the glitches they have, there's kind of weird logic issues in the game. I think the structuring, how they structured Live from a programming idea has not been optimal. I think part of that is they just structured the game poorly, and therefore it's just hard, and therefore you're going to keep creating problems. It's really hard to do. If you have a structure that makes things difficult, yes, you can probably write the code to make it work, whatever structure you decided on, but some structures are just going to be very prone to problems, and I think that's what we have. I think we have a bad structure. I think we have a bad base upon which Live was started, some bad initial decisions. I don't know if the team is as strong as it should be, whether it's the individuals on the team aren't as good as they should be. I imagine the team's too small. Team probably isn't experienced enough. It's probably multiple factors there. But okay, how do I wrap this up here? So live, hopefully, is going to be working again soon. Hopefully, it's going to be back online so we can play it, and hopefully, it works well. Hopefully, things go. Hopefully, it gets sorted out. I don't know. Um, you know, the trainer challenges gave some goodwill in live as I conclude. So, live hasn't been in a great place. It's been around for like 2 years, depending what date you want to look at it starting from. It can be over 2 years too. And I think it's not been very good. But by implementing trainer challenges or trainer trials, that was a very positive step, and I think they built up some goodwill, certainly with myself, and I think the community in general, including GLC format, was really good as well. But I think now, they've thrown away all that goodwill and probably moved themselves backwards, right, into a worse off position in terms of how we think about live and how we think about, just Pokemon's ability to implement it. So anyway, hopefully it gets sorted soon, and hopefully we can get back to playing the trading card game that we all enjoy and love.